Okay.
All right, you guys roll out. Here we go. This morning is as many reps as possible, or as many rounds as possible, sorry, in 5 minutes. I just put the exercises in the chat. So it's basically 4 rounds of 5 minutes. And within the 5 minutes, you'll do as many rounds as possible, alternating back and forth between 2 pairs of exercises. Or I said 1 pair of exercises. So in the first pair, you're going to spend 5 minutes going back and forth between squat jumps and kettlebell pull through, which is that push-up position. Push-up position, and then drag the kettlebell. So you'll grab the kettlebell over here, drag it over to this side, and then drag it back over this side. So you'll do that. Everything is 8 reps today, so it should be really easy to count. So you do 8 squat jumps, 8 kettlebell pull throughs, 8 squat jumps, kettlebell pull throughs, going back and forth between the 2 as many times as you can in 5 minutes. All right, so that's the first one. Second one, lateral lunge and a floor press. So stepping out to the side each time, so you'd be holding your weight, you'll step out and then come back together. So a lunge, you'll always step back together. Floor press, you'll just roll right over, press that weight up, just like a bench press, lying on your back, pressing the weight up to the floor. Again, 8 of everything. Jumping jacks, 8 of those. Those are going to go really quick. And then the other half of that is kettlebell clean. So the kettlebell will be or you'll tap to the floor and then pop up. So if you're holding a dumbbell, you'll hold one end of it if you can, so that the handle is vertical, and you'll tap to the floor and come up. But with the kettlebell clean, you're here, popping that weight up and just catch it up top, and then back to touch the floor. All right, so that'll be done. That's a lower body movement. It shouldn't be too much like curling with your arms. Last pair, glute bridge, lying on your back. You're going to do 8 each side, pressing your heel down into the floor, lifting your hips up. And then the plank row is you're going to be in that push-up position again. Elevate your hand if you can, so maybe doing it on a step or the end of a couch, something like that. You'll be here in a plank position or in a push-up position, and then you row with the other hand. All right, so that's what we're doing. Let's take 30 more seconds to roll. All right, and good. Let's start off on a knee. So we'll just take one knee, tuck that tailbone under, just getting a hip flexor stretch here. Once you get your stretch, we'll hold for about 10 seconds. Then we're going to reach up and over. So just reaching as high as you can to the ceiling, just looking for a nice big stretch down this side as you reach. Make sure we're keeping your tailbone tucked. And let's switch to the other side. So keeping your hips nice and level. A lot of times that's going to mean tucking your tailbone. Once you get your stretch, you'll reach up and over. You should feel more stretch, or at least a stretch down the outside of your ribs here as you reach. And good. From here, let's just take your hands right to the ground. Stand in that position, again, pushing your hips down towards the floor. Keeping that foot in front of you flat on the floor. And then we'll rotate. So from here, you can leave your back knee on the ground or raise it up. Either way, we're going to rotate. So getting your head and upper back turning. And good, let's go ahead and switch sides. Taking those hands to the floor. Your foot should be flat outside your hands. Your knee will be outside your armpit. So we're pushing your hips down to the floor and pushing your chest away from the floor. And from there, let's go ahead and rotate. Turning up towards the ceiling. Make sure your chest is turning toward the leg that's forward. And good. From there, let's go into a pigeon stretch. So we'll just take your back leg, bring it, or your front leg, and take it behind you. Your shin should be coming up and across in front of you. Right, if you're not feeling a stretch in your hip, you can move your foot forward a bit. Just rotate that hip a little bit more. But we do want your hips to be square to the floor. So we don't want to be seated off to the side with this stretch. We'll be right down the middle. And let's switch it up. Bringing that other leg up and across. There shouldn't be any knee stress with this. So if there's knee stress, figure out a different spot for your foot so that you're not putting strain on your knee. We should be getting a stretch up behind your hip. And from here, let's go back to a push-up position, and we'll push your hips up towards the ceiling. Let your heels drop. So we're just working into a hamstring stretch here, and also some shoulder warm-up and a shoulder stretch. So think of yourself as kind of like a tent here. Go up to your tailbone, down to your heels. Trying to let those heels drop so you get a big calf stretch out of it. And let's walk those hands in. And we'll go ahead and stand. All right. So bodyweight squats here, we're just going to go for 15. Nice and slow. Take it as kind of a chance to feel things out. Make sure things are working properly. Try to keep that. Think of your foot as like a tripod, right? You got your big toe, the outside of your foot, the outside edge of your foot, and your heel all pressing down into the ground. That'll help turn everything on up the chain. As you're squatting down, you're seeing, what maybe a different foot position does for you. Starting to feel warm in your legs. And good. Let's step out to the side for some lateral lunges here. These are going to be a part of the workout, so we want to start warming up the movement right now without weight. Let's go one side, and then we'll switch. So in the workout, you can choose to hold the weight up under your chin, which I think has the most overall benefits if there's no issues with that. If that does fire up low back stuff, which it can, we'll just hold the weight on the straight leg side, down low. So we switch sides. Good, last bit here. We're just gonna reach forward. Think about flying like Superman. And then today we're actually gonna switch. We're gonna alternate these. We reach forward, hinge, reach forward on the hinge, Let's do 3 more each side. Okay. So I got things set up here. Okay. Good to go. All right, so we've got 5 minutes times 4 with a minute in between each, okay? We're gonna go ahead and get rolling. Starting off, first first pair is a squat jump and kettlebell pull through. So we've got an explosive movement mixed with a core movement, all right? So no weight, oh, well, I guess the weight is gonna be on the floor for this one, so it's not as important, but let's get everything set up. We'll go in 10 seconds. All right, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and here we go. 5 minutes mixing squat jumps and kettlebell pull through. Listen, if jumps aren't a good idea for you, we can modify those as you need to. So a jump can be anything where you're just coming up onto bring your heels up off the ground, right? So something a little bit faster than a squat would be good. If that's all out, then we just turn it into a little bit a slower movement. So it's going to be the same movement. It'll just look like a goblet squat. But if you can jump, jumping's important. Remember, we're doing 8 of everything. On the pull through, you're going to grab it from your supported side and pull it over to the unsupported side. And we're doing 8 of each. So 8 each direction. Keeping those hips locked right in the middle. Just working back and forth in that pair. Two minutes in, got 3 to go. Under 2 minutes to go. Remember, as we get closer to the end of the 5 minutes here, landings are really good on the jumps. And you're working on keeping your hips locked right in the middle for the pull through. Minute to go. Another option for the pull through would be just a plank position. So if you can hold that push-up position for 30 seconds to a minute, you get a lot of the same effect. 20 seconds left. Five seconds. And relax. We're going to take 1 minute off. And then we get into lateral lunges with the floor press. Obviously, that floor press is going to be one arm at a time. Depending on, if you don't have a weight that works for 8 reps, you want a weight that's going to be somewhat challenging. But if you don't have a weight that's challenging for the 8 reps, do as many reps as you need to get the challenge out of it. So that's totally fine. All right, so we got 5 minutes. We're doing 8 lateral lunges each direction. It's up to you if you want to alternate those or do all of them on one side. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and here we go. If you're holding the weight down low, it might make more sense to do them all on one side so that you're not switching hands all the time. It's a recipe for dropping something on your toe. So on the floor press, you can choose to bend both legs or both knees, or the other option is making it kind of like a Turkish get-up, where if you're pressing with your right hand, you'll have your right knee bent. Right, so you can press from here. It just gives you a little bit of extra leverage across your body down to that foot. Three minutes left, so 2 minutes down, 3 to go. On that lateral lunge, make sure as you're stepping out, your toe hits the ground first, then you should be getting down into your heel at the bottom. So sit those hips back. It's okay to angle forward with your upper body. These can also be done with just body weight if needed. Turns into a really good mobility drill. And you build strength, even just with body weight. One minute to go in this round. $25 seconds left. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1, and take a minute off. Next round, jumping jacks and kettlebell clean. So like I was saying earlier on the clean, you should be pulling hard enough from the floor that the weight just kind of floats up high enough where you can catch it. It shouldn't be a standing up and then curling with your arms. Obviously you have to do a little bit of pulling, but the speed should happen by the time you get here, and then you're just kind of switching your grip. So that's the clean. If you're not going all the way to the floor with it, that's okay. If the speed of the movement doesn't work for you, we can turn it into a deadlift. So it's just here and up and down, right? So change that range of motion as you need to. But we're gonna start off with 8 jumping jacks. All right, ready? And here we go, 5 minutes. Since none of these exercises are 8 each side, neither of these have another side, probably get through quite a few rounds of these. On that clean, you kind of have your choice if you want to make it more like a deadlift with straighter legs, or if you want the bottom to look more like a squat where your knees are bent and your chest is up. I'm probably kind of a combination of the two. Two minutes down, 3 to go. So we've got the time and kind of enough reps here to really use this as a form check. Try to make it so that you're pulling the weight straight up your body. We just park it up top. I almost hit myself in the chin with that one. But if your form is good and you have a nice straight line with the weight, it's going to be efficient. So you can kind of use this time just to make sure everything's moving in the right direction. Two minutes left. If you feel like you want to mix in some more jumping jacks just to give you a break from the cleans, might be a good strategy. I'll never know. Last round here, 1 minute to go. Or sorry, last minute. Got one more round after this. $25 seconds. Five seconds left. 3, 2, 1. Relax. Okay. Working into our last group, a glute bridge. So we're lying in this pair, we're just sort of rolling around on the floor. If you can elevate your hand on something, that usually works out best for the plank row, especially if you're using a kettlebell because it just hangs so far down. So I'm going to use the blocks to elevate my hand so that I can stay a little bit more square for the row. All right, 8 glute bridges. We got 10 seconds to rest here. 8 glute bridges, and then 8 plank row each side. Okay, and off we go. 5 minutes to work. You can put the weight on your hips if you want. So if it works out and you want a little bit more weight for that glute bridge, you can always set the weight on your hips, find a spot that's relatively comfortable. Most important thing is keeping your thigh close to your chest. So don't let yourself arch up as you go. You should feel like you're pulling your knee back towards your face as you lift your hips, instead of pushing it up towards the ceiling. Belly stays strong. So the wider your feet are on the plank row, the more stability you're going to have. So if you want to set up nice and wide, 2 minutes down, 3 to go. Last 3 minutes of the morning. Again, if you feel like doing more reps, especially on the glute bridge, feel free to go ahead. I don't think anybody's going to be choosing to do more reps on the row, but what do I know? So on the glute bridge, you're thinking about keeping your hips, your pelvis stable while you move your hip joint only. So no low back movement here. You shouldn't feel fatigue or like you're doing a crunch with your low back. Two minutes to go. All right, last minute here. Twenty seconds left. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. All right, just to announce again, guys, tomorrow, Saturday, we'll be at 8 o'clock rather than 9, since we got a full day ahead of us. So, Ted, how did it work out last week to put the recorded one in the group? Work out okay? All right, good. Okay, everybody. Take time on your own. I know some of you got to scatter. Thanks for joining me this morning. And we'll see you really soon. Great job, guys. Bye, Carol. Bye, Diane. Bye, Mark. Bye, Ted.
Thanks.